Kids, thanks for joining me in the garage again. Today we're going to be installing a set of Spiker Engineering hood struts on the 99 4Runner. This is a welcomed upgrade that will offer some much needed headroom while working under the hood. Make sure to hit that thumbs up, comment down below with questions, and if this is your first time here, consider subscribing. Let's do some wrenching. First off, let's go over all the parts you get with the kit from Spiker Engineering. This kit includes everything you're going to need as far as the hardware is concerned. Of course, you get the 2 gas struts for keeping your hood up. Also, in this little packet here, you get 2 ball studs and Belleville washers for attaching the bottom of the gas struts to the inside of the fender. Then the 2 ball stud brackets for attaching the top of the gas struts to the underside of the hood. It includes a total of 5 rivets. That way you get an extra one in case you mess up one during the installation there. Those are 3/16 inch rivets. You also get a drill stop so you don't end up drilling too far and damage the underside of your hood. Finally, you get a Spiker Engineering sticker to stick on your favorite spot for stickers. Keep in mind, since you're drilling holes and using rivets, this is an irreversible modification. In my opinion though, this is one of the best modifications you can make under the hood, other than adding a TRD supercharger, of course. So let's go over some of the tools here. You also need a drill and a drill bit. This is a 3/16 drill bit to go with the 3/16 rivets, a center punch for marking where to start that drill, and then some masking tape and a Sharpie. This is so you can not scratch up your paint when marking and then drilling. And then you need a 3/16 inch rivet gun. This one has various sizes. I got the 3/16 inch in there right now. And then a tape measure for measuring the height that you're going to gain from the OEM hood prop. That way you make sure you're not going too far on that. So that shows you everything we have in the kit and tools you're going to need. So let's go over to the truck here and we'll get started. To start, you'll obviously need to open your hood. Since these struts will allow for your hood to open much higher than stock, you'll need something to prop up the hood to the height you wish. This is one tool I neglected to mention at the bench, but a simple 2x4, or as I'm using here, an extendable pole of some sort. This just happens to be an extendable car washing pole. This is where your tape measure will come into play, as the maximum amount of height that's really safe is about 6 inches above where the factory hood support stops. So you kind of see here, we're at just at about 5 inches or so, measuring from the bottom of where this sits. Any much more than that 6-inch max is going to risk bending your hood supports on your cowl, or even bending the hinges on your hood. You'll want to take into consideration, if you plan on to have ditch lights in the future, the height you're setting the hood to may interfere with the placement of them when you have your hood open. Just be sure to take those variables into consideration when determining the height you want to set your hood once your struts are installed. Since I have no plans to add ditch lights in the future, I'm going to be setting the hood of the 99 4Runner to about 5 inches like you saw here to give myself plenty of headroom under the hood. With my desired height set and the hood now securely supported, let's move over to the driver's side and we can start the installation of the struts on that side there. All right, now that we have the hood propped up about the height that we want, the next thing we want to do is get the first ball stud in. I'm over on the driver's side here, and you'll see there's a few tapped holes. I've got some things removed here just to kind of make it a little easier to see. But it's basically the closest one, and this is a M8 1.25 pitch hole here, which matches this ball stud that's provided in the Spiker Engineering kit. And so it's a 12 millimeter nut on a M8 1.25 pitch thread. So it also includes this Belleville washers like we discussed, which is kind of a concave washer. At least one side is concave, the other side is convex, right? So the concave side will go towards the fender well. And so you get this in here, get your 12 millimeter wrench. and then get that snug down. Doesn't need to be, there's no torque spec on any of this, so it doesn't necessarily need to be super tight, just, you know, good and tight. The next thing is to get your first strut here, and you're going to put the rod in. This thin end here is the rod end. This is the rod, and this is the I don't know, case, gas case for it. And so this rod end is going to go on this side, and the way this works is there's a little tab here that you can hit that just pops up, and then you can push this onto the ball just like that, and that's, you know, you can see that is on there securely. And so now that you've got your hood, you kind of go up here, swing that up there, and you'll kind of see where you're going to want to put your bracket. So I think the first thing you'll want to do is put a little bit of masking tape up there. That way you don't scratch things up. I'm going to be really close to this factory hole here, and so I'm going to go ahead and put on the bracket again, just like the bottom one. You kind of pry this little strap up, and then you can kind of snap that in there real easily. And so I'm going to have this beveled edge towards the outside, and then you just kind of sit that up there. And I think that I'm going to go ahead, rather than drill a hole, I think I'm going to put it right in that factory hole there. So let's go ahead. I'm going to remove this tape for now, and then I will go ahead and grab a rivet here in the rivet gun, and we're going to rivet that in there. Let's take this ball bracket off. Future me is going to interrupt past me here for a moment while I scold myself for not fully following the instructions. What you just heard me say is I'm going to put these in an OEM hole, which happens to be on the flat side of that hood support rib on the inside of the hood there. And that's not where you want to place these. And so if I show you here, you're going to see that I've got them placed now on inboard of this support rib on the hood. And you can see here right now what I'm about to do is put these on this OEM hole, and here's the hole that I drilled. As you can see, I drilled those rivets out and then placed that bracket more inboard. So this allows this bracket then to clear the inner fender, whereas if you have it on this flat spot here, it's not going to clear the inner fender of your vehicle. So make sure you do that, and don't quite follow what I'm going to do here, but let's get back to the video and you can watch me screw this one up. There we go. And got my rivet here, my 3/16 rivet. So we're going to go ahead, I think that'll work right in there. So let's just give this a shot here. Yeah, I think that fits just fine right there. So let's just take a look. Yeah, I mean, it's just slightly higher than what I've got it set to now. So actually click that in there. So yeah, I think that's a really good spot for that. And so the next thing is I'm going to go ahead and mark a spot right there, and then we're going to drill that hole right there. That'll avoid having to drill an extra hole there. So let's do that next. So I've got this little drill stop on my 3/16 drill. Best way I found to do this, just give it a little bit up on there, and then you can actually put your your utility knife on there and just give it a little swirl. Here. So I've got this bracket placed where I want to have my little 3/16 transfer punch. Kind of get that right in there. Give that a couple of whacks. You can see right where that ends up. And then we'll hit this with the center punch. And now it's time to hit it with the drill. Excellent, and then grab the deburring tool and deburr that hole a little bit. Excellent. Now that that's all deburred, we can go ahead and we can get this second rivet in there. Tight fit. There we go. And there we are. So that's all on there. And now we can slide this up there, get it attached. And there we go. All right. Now we got to go over to the other side and get that one set up. So I'll do a little time lapse of that and then I'll meet you back at the bench. Now that we've got everything installed on both sides, you can see I've pulled the hood support and we can check the functionality of everything. First time you close the hood after installation, you'll want to be very careful to double check the clearance of the struts on either side. And I'm going to be full disclosure here. You can see I put it on this factory hole on this hood support, on the flat part of this hood support. You've got to move that bracket inside so you can see I've got a extra hole here from where I made that mistake. So now we can kind of close, I've done this once before and that's where I discovered my error. So now when we close it though, you can see, you'll be able to see the clearance that I'm going to have right here on the passenger side and over here on the driver's side. One thing you want to pay particularly close attention to is whether or not the windshield wiper fluid line along the passenger side isn't getting pinched. So that's one thing on the install for the passenger side that differs from the driver's side, is that this little windshield wiper fluid line just plugs in right here. And so you've got to remove that. I've just zip tied it as recommended by the instructions next to or onto the ABS sensor here. And so that's just one thing. It also plugs in. I have a 99 4Runner, and so that has a little buzzer here that is screwed into the same position that's on the driver's side. And so you've got to pull that out and then replace it with the ball stud that goes in on the fender side. So, well, that was a quick project, and for someone as tall as I am, the improved headroom is a huge plus. Hope you learned something watching today's video. Hit the thumbs up if you like what you saw, and leave a comment below if you have a question about getting these installed on your vehicle. If you're here for the first time, consider subscribing to see some more of the upcoming projects I have, and follow me on Instagram at Weekend Wrench Turner. Thanks for watching. Keep on wrenching.